Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's always great to be here, and it's always an incredible honor, incredible privilege to be able to always speak here. Hello to definitely everyone here at 875 Post here in San Francisco, but also hello to all the ones who are going to be listening to this on YouTube later on, and to the folks who are paying attention to this on ACM Gathering, and now the fact that we're doing live streaming.
We're all over the place.
Yeah, we're all over the place. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are at. Definitely, welcome to this incredible space. Really appreciate it. And so that actually got me to reflect and to think about actually Community Miracle Center, how things have shifted and changed, over the years, knowing the fact that we're doing all these different ways of how we can actually listen to the talks that we actually give. I started with the chorus, studying the chorus, and actually getting involved with the Community Miracle Center back in late 2001, thanks to Reverend Peter, who the one who actually introduced me to the chorus and to the Community Miracle Center. And at that time, we were meeting in the Council District here in San Francisco. So that was our home for many, many years. And then now, of course, we're here at 875 Post. But what it got me to think about is, the fact that, today I'm going to be, talking about, staying on our path. It made me reflect on a little bit about Community Miracle Center path. And, recognizing and understanding that everything that the center went through over so many years of it being in existence. I think it was 1987 or something when you guys started, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, you got it.
All right, because it's the year I graduated from high school. That's how I remember that year. That's how I remember that year. So, but the thing is, definitely since I've been involved with it, I know that we have went through a lot of challenges and a lot of, obstacles over the, years. Whether that had to do with our attendance coming up and down, where sometimes it's very big, sometimes it's very small, not sure if people are going to be able to come or not regarding that aspect of it. And also, one of the, losing, one of our dear co-founders of, CMC, and how that impacted us and how we're going to still continue to do what we want to do for the Community Miracle Center. But also, recognizing that we had to shift and change locations, and how, what that's going to be like, and if that's going to make some changes, and if things are going to, deteriorate because of that, or if it's not. It's like all these things, continues to, happen. And then also reflecting on, all the incredible conferences that we had, and how that brought up different feelings for different people, and wondering like, are we doing the right thing, are we not? It's just like all these little things that happens, but yet, it's a reminder that through all that, the Community Miracle Center stayed on a path that was set for us. It was already set. So regardless of what all these things was happening or were coming up, something deep in the organization, deep into center, we knew that we're going to get through this, no matter what. And we're realizing that now also because, in the future we're going to be moving locations again. and as Reverend 20 put in the healing thing of something that he manifested and put it, in there, and realizing what that's going to, be like. But I trust, and I know, and I have faith, it's going to work out fine. And the reason why it's going to work out fine is because Spirit has already set the purpose and the mission of what Community Miracle Center is supposed to be about.
Hallelujah.
No matter what. So it is going to happen, and that's the beauty of it. And as I was thinking about that, it made me reflect on my own life, of my own path, of what's been set for me. And I have to tell you, I've had some doubts on what my path is supposed to be. I wasn't sure if I want to follow what I know the Spirit is keep telling me to do because of my own fears that comes up. And asking myself, wait a minute here. Is this what I'm really supposed to do? Am I supposed to do the things that the Spirit is telling me to do? And then of course that ego mind comes in and say, no, you're not supposed to do it. No, not at all. But yet, I know and I trust that the course will make sure and help guide me that I do the things that I am supposed to do, and to stay on the path that's already been set for me early on in my life. The course tells us this: let us not fight our function. We did not establish it. It is not our idea. The means are given us by which it will be perfectly accomplished. Let us not fight our function. The means are given us by which it will be perfectly accomplished. We cannot fight what our function has already been set for us. And this reminded me of when I was ordained, which was October 2nd, 2004. I can remember what year that I was, ordained as a minister. But the thing is, when I, think about that, and when I think about when I was a kid and when I was a child, I guarantee you, I was not thinking about being a reverend. I was not thinking about being a spiritual teacher. I was that was nowhere near on my career path, as it never even entered my mind. And then that is a thing that for us to remember is how it was already set for me. Even though growing up, I thought about being, doing sports, I thought about being a lawyer, I thought about being a heart surgeon. It's like all these things that, I thought about, doing. But the thing that I am very clear about, that I never thought about, is being a spiritual teacher, being a reverend, and what that entails. And so even though I went through the class for, 2 years, even during that time, I recognize and understand that I still had my own fears and insecurity regarding what that meant. In my mind, I was thinking, oh my God, okay, if I become a reverend, if I become a minister, guess what? More pressure. People will expect a lot more from you. You are supposed to behave in a certain way because you are a spiritual leader, because you're a reverend, and all those things that people put on us. And then I'm like, oh my God, am I ready for that? That was some pressure that I wasn't sure if I wanted to take. And I understand and I recognize the fact that even though people who's involved with the course and here at Community Miracle Center, and some family members and some people at work knew that I became a reverend, but I really did not discuss it much. I somewhat hid it, even though I knew it, but I just was not comfortable in my skin to really say, yeah, this is part of who I am. And one of the things that I remember is at my job, we give trainings. And when we give trainings, one of the things that we always do that we feel that is important is that we introduce ourselves. We say who we are, we say the type of work we do, and we do all that. And I list all the things I do, whether I was in school, working with, writing HIV, working with the African American, being commissioner of softball league, all that. But I never mentioned about being a reverend. And then one of my coworkers always stops me and say, wait a minute here, Vincent, there's one more thing about you that you're not mentioning. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not. He's like, no, there is. And you have to own it. And it was me being a reverend. So even though he knew, but at that time, I was not ready to embrace it. But now I shift and understand that that was my path. I was supposed to become a minister. And the thing that I'm realizing and understanding is, yes, I don't have to announce the fact that I'm a reverend. It's part of who I am. It shows up in everything I do in my life. That's part of who I am. And I had to accept that and understand, okay, yes, Vincent, the Spirit has set this path for you, even though you didn't think about it when you were a kid, but it knew that I needed this in order to get through other aspects of my life as I continue to evolve. And that, no, I don't need to name it. That's not my purpose. My purpose is just to model it and demonstrate it in the way that I carry myself and in the way that I do things in my life. That's what it is. And that's me staying on my path that the Spirit has set for me. The Course always reminds us of this. All that we are asked to do is to accept our part in genuine humility and not deny with self-deceiving arrogance that we are worthy. All that we are asked to do is to accept our path in genuine humility and not deny with self-deceiving arrogance that we are worthy. Whew. Genuine humility. What an incredible message from the Course. Not being in our arrogance, but being in humility by being in our spirit mind, in our spirit being. That's the genuine humility that the Course is teaching us for us to embrace, to be able to accept that. And for me, it's important to remember that because things have not always been great in my life. There's always been challenges and obstacles that appears to enter, that comes up. One of the things that the Course teaches us, that always says, is that we tend to manifest things that happens in our life and in this world. And I have to tell you, it took a while to grasp that, to understand that. Yes, it was easy for me to accept it when things was going well in my life. Things are great, just absolutely beautiful, no worries, no nothing. It's like, yes, I manifested that. But the minute that things are not going well, which things seems to be happening, and then what I want to do is I want to blame. I want to say, God, why did you continue to do this? No matter how hard I try, or no matter what I do, you continue to bring some type of obstacles into my life. Why do you do that? The truth of the matter is, we manifest it. I manifest the wonderful things that's going on in my life. I manifest the things that at that time is not going well in my life. But the key is not to dwell on that, but just to have the awareness of it. And then, guess what? Ask Spirit to help us change and shift that and put it out there in a universe of how things are really supposed to be for us. And that's what we're manifesting. And that's what we're aiming for. Definitely that is what I am aiming for. There are a couple of things lately that's really been overwhelming for me. As you guys all know, I'm still working, but I'm also doing my pre-doctorate internship. And to be true, it's been extremely overwhelming. It's been very tiresome, and it's been taking a lot of energy out of me. But yet, I was too afraid to admit that. I was too afraid to accept the fact that yes, this is what's happening, and that it's okay to acknowledge that and not to put that down to the wayside. And to understand obstacles are going to happen. As Tony have on a prayer list, I found out that I was not eligible for financial aid anymore because I had maxed out. And all the anger and the upset that I felt, the frustration of knowing that I'm just a year away from graduating, how can this be happening right now? Being frustrated with my school for not letting me know this last year when I applied for financial aid, that this was going to be my last year of being eligible for it. Waiting to after I had already registered for my internship and for to continue my dissertation, and then they notify you. And it's like, wait a minute, that is just not enough time to prepare for what you're supposed to. And then knowing, all the feelings that I had regarding that. And then questioning, okay, Spirit, are you telling me that this is not my path then? Because you're putting this forward, knowing that I am so close, and yet you're bringing this big thing that is happening, for me? Is that really the path that you set? You made me go through all that for no reason? Of course not. But being in my head, being in my ego mind, that's what I was feeling. I was doubting that this is what I was supposed to be able to do. And I had to figure out how to trust that. And then, the other thing that's been going on, that has been happening, that I needed to address and look at and understand. Yes, I'm in a position at work that I love the work that I'm doing. It's something that I've always wanted to do. But what has shifted, and that what has taken place now that I was not expecting, is how much they want me to be one of the lead people to deal with the race and racism within our department. And all what that entails, and how much energy that is. So with all that stuff going on with work, at my internship, I had to own the fact that I just wanted to shut everything out. All I wanted to do was stay home and do nothing. Feeling that depression that I never thought that I would feel. Because I've always put up the image of being very happy-going and enjoying life. Well, yes, I do enjoy life. But there are times where I don't. There are times because of all the stuff that is going on that I have those doubts and that I just feel like I just can't do it. That I just don't know if I'm worthy enough to do the things that were set for me, of my path, of being able to handle everything that continues to come my way. Knowing and understanding of having a course, a spiritual practice, to be able to rely on that, to be able to ask for that guidance, having the strength and letting go of my ego and my pride to put it on a prayer list, knowing that people who read that knows what's going on with me. That is not easy for me to do. But I recognize and I understand if I'm going to stay on a path that Spirit has set for me, I can't do it alone. That I need to put it out there in the universe and trusting that things will work itself out the way that it's actually meant to be able to be worked out. The Course tells us this, and this was part of the lesson, I think it was lesson 186. The salvation of the world depends on me. All it says is that your Father still remembers you and offers you the perfect trust he holds in you, who are his son. All it says is that your Father still remembers you and offers you the perfect trust that he holds in you. The Spirit trusts within us. The Spirit understands in my mind that no matter what, he trusts us. He understands and knows what our path is. me discovering the course clearly was meant to happen. Even though it was not something that I expected in my life at all. But I think, and I believe, and I know that Spirit knew way before I was born of what my purpose was going to be in this world. And I know, and I understand that there's no way Spirit will let me get this far in my graduate level to not be able to finish it. To not let any of these appeared obstacles to get it in the way. I know that because I am at an internship right now where I have the privilege to be able to work with kids and youth. And more importantly for me, a lot of those kids are youth of color, kids of color. And being able, just only for a few months, just to see the little impact that I'm already making on their lives. And I'm making it on their lives because I'm showing up. I am being present for them. Because a lot of these kids, a lot of these youth don't have a lot going on with them. They don't have a lot of people who believe and trust in them. But I'm able, in my role, to show up with that. And I do take in a lot when I'm working with them. And I had to talk to my supervisor about that. And then he let me know that's one of the beauties about me being a therapist, because I am able to relate with the clients and able to take in and hold what's going on with them. And letting them know that it's okay for them to be who they are. And that no matter what obstacles they see in their lives, that they will be able to get through it. That is the path that the Spirit has set for me, despite of these potential obstacles that may be entering. And for me to trust that and to understand that and to follow it and not to let it go and say, no, I can't do this anymore. And then the other thing that I realized regarding work of taking on this new role of dealing with race and racism within our workplace and recognizing that that's something that's plaguing our society in general. But yet the remarkable thing is I'm able to address it from a loving and healing place. I am coming from love and not hate. And that's what has been set for me, to be able to address these issues that are tough for some people to talk about, that they are afraid of. But for me to have a spiritual practice, to bring it to light in that loving way, to bring that to light in such a healing way, of the way for us to heal our minds and heal this world that we are in. Yes, I am pretty sure that the ego will try to come in my mind again and try to find other obstacles, other ways for me not to do what's meant for me to do. I always can come back to the Spirit, to the course of knowing that this is where I'm supposed to be. This is me staying on a path that was set for me. This is my purpose. This is all our purpose that has already been set for us, each and every one of us. The thing is, are we ready to embrace that and to trust in it and believe that what we're doing right now is what we're supposed to be doing? That each and every one of you are on your path. And the thing is, and one of the beauty that I love about the course and about the center is, we're doing it as a collective. It may appear that we're doing it separate, but we're really not. It's our collective minds together that is able to do that. And I know for me, that helps me realizing that it's not just about me, it's about each and every one that I'm in contact with that is in part of my life, or that I'm not even part of my life yet. That I'm manifesting of doing things that may appear to be challenging, but in reality, it's really not. Being able to use that now with younger people and being able now to bring that to light in this world and in a workplace who's willing to deal with that and recognizing our own stuff in order to continue to help the communities that we're supposed to do. That is us. That is me staying on my path. And the Course says this: you are not weak, as is the image of yourself. You are not arrogant, ignorant, and helpless. You are not weak. Neither one of us are weak. We are extremely powerful human beings who's been set to do incredible things in this world that we are in. The question to ask yourselves, are you ready now to stay on your path no matter what? No matter what comes up or appear as obstacles, to do what your purpose is. I know for me, I am at the stage in my life with the guidance of everyone to stay on that path, to continue to strive and do what is meant for me to do. And I trust in each and every one that you also will stay on your path. And for us all as a collective, we will continue to heal this world, heal this mind, and stay on the path that we're supposed to do. And that's my talk for today.
Yeah.